everyone, my name is NewFlowerGirl, but you can call me Demi, and welcome back to another Aftertalk video. We are back with MotoGP because, well, the season has started. I was contemplating on doing the race report thing, but then again, for 3 races, that's really long. Like, I'm just gonna keep to the race reports in F1. And yeah, that will be it. With just MotoGP and shit, I'll just take it from the race result things. So, first of all, we're gonna look at the retirements. We have Betele, Suzuki, and Asman. They crashed out. Yeah. Masia also crashed out, but he continued. So yeah. Let's see where all the British people were. I don't think there are any British guys. Oh wait. Watley, Joshua Watley, and Scott Ogden. Those are the only British folks. Watley finished last in 25th, and Scott Ogden 17th. That was mainly because he had his bike stalled on like going into the warm-up lap. And that was pretty disappointing because he had a front row start. So he had to start at the back of the grid. He made up a good race though. It was not all too clean of a race, I gotta say. I think there was just one guy who kept pushing other people out. I mean, Onchu, he was fighting for the podium and he ended up 11th. Colin Fire, he led the race for a little bit. And in the exact same lap going into Maggots and Baggots, or actually coming out of Maggots, heading towards Baggots, he had a moment, but he saved it. He saved it. That has to be his save of the month, right there. He dropped back out of the points, but with 3 laps to go, it was unsure if he was gonna climb back up. He ended up P9, which is solid. His teammate, however, got a podium. 2nd place for him. 3rd was Daniel Holgado. And we have a new Moto3 winner. He's the first ever Colombian to win a race. I'm of course talking about David Alonso. He's the first ever Colombian driver that has won a race. And that's an achievement. That's a really good achievement. So yeah, I'm happy with this result. Not about like what happened to him, but like, yeah. If Fire didn't have that moment, he might have gone a podium or a possible new best result. We of course know Assen was his best result, P5. So yeah, hopefully one day this season. We're not going to go to Moto2 now because it's Silverstone. And they have to do it weirdly here. So Moto2 is after the MotoGP. The retirements were... Wait, there was a sprint race for this one. Let's do that one. That is a sprint race. The retirements in the sprint race. None. Alex Rins is still recovering from his surgery. From surgery and injury. Many of you guys don't know Mugello. No, not Mugello. I don't know what race it was, but he had one massive shunt. I think it was Mugello. Yeah, it was Mugello. Yeah. In Mugello he had a massive crash and he broke his leg. Pretty terrible. And they got a replacement for this race by the name of Ike Leguona. Well, let's say Everyone else was already in maggots and baggets, and he had to he was then already on the finish line. Yeah, he was slow, like 47 seconds off of the leader of the race did he finish. Marc Marquez finally stayed on his bike for once. Big news around Franco Morbidelli. He's leaving MotoGP. Alex Rins is going to go and take his place. Francesco Bagnaia, let's talk about him. That sprint race did not go well. Then again, it was wet. Yeah. What to say? Other than... Oh, Quartararo. 21st. I think he had a moment. He didn't have the pace or something. Can't exactly remember. Third place. Maverick Vinales. Second place, Marco Bezzecchi. And first, new Grand Prix winner, or sprint race winner, Alex Marquez. So now we have 2 Marquez MotoGP race winners. Yeah. Let's go. Now, let's go to the next race. The main race. The non-classified ones, well, there are 2 that we can already cross off, because they'll probably always be off, which is both the Red Bull Honda drivers, Juan Mir and Marc Marquez. I swear, Marc Marquez spends more time with gravel, in the gravel traps, than with his team on the podium. Like, he should either quit or not drive that weirdly. No. Well, Marco Bezzecchi, he crashed out. Alex Marquez and Enea Bastianini. Ige Legona once again lost. This time he finished 109 seconds behind the winner. Fabio Quartararo, he had an incident, as a certain person would say, with Luca Marini. His entire front got teared off. But, there is a massive but to this. It was drizzling. And there were some slippery spots, and they were waving the white flag with the red cross, which meant that the drivers were able to switch bikes. This was in Quartararo's favour, because he swapped bikes and returned to racing. That is strategy. Well, it's not strategy, it's $1 million strategy, probably. But yeah, he got the last point still the points, but this is not his dream season. Yeah. Brad Binder finally stayed within the lines. And got himself a podium. We know from Assen that he got 2 times on the last lap. In Veenslang, I believe. He got track limits on the last lap, and that basically means drop 1 position. Francesco Bagnaia was finally on point, where Bezzecchi scored points. Where he didn't, it was now opposite. Francesco Bagnaia second, but his victory got snatched by a Spaniard, who we haven't seen in a while. Well, we have seen him in a while. We haven't seen his brother, like, since Portugal. And his brother's now finally back on the bike. Quick notice, he finished 12th. Pol Espargaro. He's finally back, yay! The winner was Aleix Espargaro. He got first, which is really good. And, like, when he got on across the finish line, he was like doing like this, because he had the brand of his bike there. It's all sponsoring. Gives him extra money, I think. But yeah, it was an alright race. Now to the Moto2. At the first lap, basically everyone we were with was so scared that it happens again that we thought it was the end of his season already. I mean, he couldn't even race in Assen because the guys there didn't let him do the tests. I'm talking about Bobenschneider. After the confirmation, it turned out it was his teammate who was in a terrible position. He got sent to the hospital. Basically, it was a terrible crash involving Skinner, Foggia, Hada, and I believe Gomez as well. Jake Dixon was a completely different crash. Yeah. It was just those 4 drivers. And Tiger Hada, he took the biggest bullet. I'm not sure if he's going to be there in 2 weeks for Austria at the Red Bull Ring. Yeah, we'll see. Jake Dixon just crashed on his own. So bad, so sad. It's his home race as well. Same for Rory Skinner. 2 other retirements, Sergio Garcia. That was 3 laps later. And then 4 laps after Garcia, it was Alonso Lopez. Let me tell you a story about Zonta van de Goorberg. Zonta comes from Noord-Brabant, which is an area in the Netherlands close to Belgium. And this little boy called Zonta, his dad called Jürgen, he had a passion for motorsport. He dreamt one day of winning a Grand Prix. He ended up in the Red Bull Rookies Cup and then skipped to Moto2 and Moto3. Went straight to Moto2. It was difficult for him. He was yet to score a point. But then, on qualifying day, the 5th of August, I had to look up on my calendar. The 5th of August, he did it. He got himself on the front row. On the Sunday, he ended up getting a decent start, but he dropped back because his bike was shit. His bike is pretty shit. But the reason why he got front row was because it was raining. And we judges, we are good in rain. I mean, not Bobenschneider, unfortunately. But yeah, Zonta, he nailed it in the rain. He kept it within the track limits. He kept his bike on the asphalt. Not a mistake. Got himself onto the front row. I want to see. How far was he off? He was like 0.711 of a pole position. 11 milliseconds of Firmin Aldeguer. Yeah. Oscar Piastri has some bad memories of those 11 milliseconds. Speaking of Oscar Piastri, he was there. He was there at Silverstone, as well as Lando. They were both there. I mean, as a British team, you should. I think they both had a whale of a time. I mean, Lando not so much because his hero is not in MotoGP anymore. His hero is Valentino Rossi, but I think Oscar had a whale of a time. He talked to all the drivers and like to the Aussie driver in the MotoGP, Jack Miller. I think he must have had a whale of a time there. I know I would. We're gonna try to get to Assen for next year. I hope we can get it in. If not, we'll try again next year. The year after that. Anyway. Yeah, Zonta. He dropped back all the way to 20th. Hopes for first point finish ever in Moto2. it quickly got doused by the British rain. But Ben Schneider 17th. Let's talk about our southern neighbor, Barry Baltus, the Belgian driver who doesn't speak a word Dutch. He must be like from the French part of Belgium. But yeah, he was fighting for that podium position. Like, he was so close to getting the podium position, and then he ended up 6th. Yeah. Yeah, we had a nice fight for the podium, for the victory, with Pedro Costa, Aaron Canet, and Firmin Aldeguer. When Aaron Canet took the lead, I said to my sister and my boyfriends, like, we're gonna see a message pop up on screen now that he's crashed, because that's always what happens when he leads the race. But yeah, this time he just got overtaken. Yeah, Aaron Canet finished the race 2nd, ahead of Pedro Costa, which meant that Firmin Aldeguer won the race, and we had a Spanish podium. Complete Spanish podium. Yay. And that's it. That's all. I'm not sure what the condition is of Tiger Harda. I actually just realized MotoGP tweeted out that, well, posted out, because it's no longer Twitter. They actually messaged, but like a post on X, that Tiger Harda has been declared unfit. So Ben Schneider is all alone on the Red Bull Ring. I think they will get a replacement in. Tiger Harda, he broke his leg in that crash. It was a horrifying crash. Like, there was just a guy who just had one of the 4. I think might have been either Rory Skinner or Gomez. No, it must be Gomez. And then all of a sudden, they used the MotoGP, the F1 layout. So you just go onto the grass, going towards turn 3, and he starts to shake a lot. Like, it's really wobbly, and then he tilts over, and his bike just slides across the track, and I already know with that it's gonna be bad news. And then he collected Foggia, Harda, and Gomez, and I believe Tiger Harda actually flew a little. Yeah, it was scary. Yeah, but yeah, these kind of things happen. It's motor racing. It's dangerous. Yeah. I want to also say, my mom showed me a post that same weekend, a 13-year-old racing driver had also lost his life. Yeah. Still, it's dangerous. I think they should really raise up the age limit to where they can start to race for like every class. It's like 16 minimum for everything, because it's still freaking dangerous. And yeah, I really don't know what to say. But every racing bond is making it all, is trying their hardest to make racing more safe, but with new developments for engine power and more horsepower. That is the kind of thing that gets drivers killed, because it goes from like here all the way to up here, and like, yeah, how do you cope with that? some drivers are unable to, because like it's a big jump from what they're used to something they haven't trained with at all. I mean, that's why a lot of the Moto2 rookies and MotoGP rookies end up with fractures, because they are not used to the engine power. And yeah, they're not used to the change. That's what I meant to say, not to the engine power. They're not used to the change. Yeah, I think they should also kind of look into that. But yeah. Anyways, guys, I hope you enjoyed this after talk. If you did, then please hit the like button and also consider subscribing if you don't want to miss any more of these after talks. Like I said, next week there's no after talk, but there is a vlog. Yeah, the holiday vlog. I edited it. Part 2 will be next week in the place of what it is supposed to be an after talk, but there's not because there's no race. And part 1 will be Saturday. So yeah, that's it from me for now, and I shall see you guys in another video. Bye!